Howdy folks, now I want to show this clip from Prime Minister's questions yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it already, but I just think this is the clearest example of what this government think about people that are in dire poverty. What people like Rishi Sunak actually think of people that are homeless and really struggling in this country. It's the clearest definition I've ever seen. Now, I try and stress this a lot in my videos. I don't care where you sit on the political spectrum. I don't care who you vote for, whether you're left, right, or even what you think about Keir Starmer, or if you think that Labour would do a better job. I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want to highlight the fact that this government that are in power right now do not care a single iota about you, about people that are homeless and people that are in poverty.
140,000 children homeless this Christmas, and he's utterly tone deaf. And the rise in homelessness shows how these Tory crises merge and grow and damage the country. Families like the Bradys in Wiltshire, both parents working full-time with 2 young children, forced out of their home of 15 years by a no-fault eviction, now living in their van. Or 11-year-old Liam Walker, homeless this Christmas. He wrote a letter to Santa saying, "Please, can I have a forever home? I don't want any new toys. I just want all my old toys out of storage. I just want us to be happy again." Is there anything that could shame this government into putting the country first? Then it's surely this little boy.
Mr. Speaker, if he really cared about building homes... No. If he really cared about building homes, when there was an opportunity in this House, Mr. Speaker, in this House, to back our plans to reform defective EU laws, to unlock 100,000 new homes, Mr. Speaker, what did he do? What did he do? He went in front of the cameras and said one thing and came in here and blocked it. Typical shameless opportunism.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the world's...
One more. Mr. Speaker, is that really his Christmas message to Liam?
His first reaction is just snarling attack at where the question came from. That proves to me what his true feeling. He could not give a shit about that family that are living out their van. In a Western democracy like the United Kingdom, we have families living in a van. He doesn't give 2 shits about that family. He doesn't care, because if he did, his first reaction would be, right, I'm going to get onto my ministers, we're going to find out what's going on with this family, and we're going to look into this straight away. And he would show some sort of compassion, some sort of care. But no, his first reaction is to just attack Starmer because he made him look bad. This is our government. This is the government that we have right now. And again, I stress, I don't care even if you can't stand Keir Starmer. I know a lot of people don't. If you hate him, that's not the point I'm making here. I'm not saying stressing Labour would do a better job or anything like that. I'm just saying this government right now do not care about homeless people. They do not care about people in poverty. And this is just one story of many. I'm going to talk about a subscriber of mine, Charlotte, that got in contact with me recently. She's been struggling with homelessness recently. She's had her problems. There's a specific theory that we all know, that everyone's sort of like 4 mistakes or 4 bits of bad luck away from homelessness. And this case with Charlotte proves it so much. Out of work, landlord raised the rent and she couldn't cope. Universal credit she was getting wasn't enough to pay for the upshot in the rent. She then had to start sofa surfing with friends for a period of time, but of course that only lasts so long. You know, there's only so much goodwill that people can give, and she's ended up homeless. So she tried to get emergency accommodation, and she was it's absolutely disgusting that we have this in this country, but she was told she's not at the front of the queue for emergency accommodation because she's not currently on the streets. So what she needs to do is go and spend a couple of nights sleeping rough and then get back to them, and they might be able to give emergency accommodation. How sickening is that? This time of year, the coldest time of year, December, she's going to freeze. God knows what will happen to her on the streets, but she's being told by our government to go and sleep rough for a couple of nights and then get back to you, and we might think about giving you emergency accommodation. It just makes me sick. I'm going to show a clip from the phone call, because she recorded the phone call because she's so astonished herself.
Hi Charlotte, it's Moira from Cambridge Housing.
Hi, Maura.
Right. Looking at the information that you've given us with regards to vulnerability, it doesn't look on the surface as if there's reason to believe there's a priority need. But what I want to do, if it's okay with you, is actually get some more information from your GP. Would it be possible for you to contact your GP to give verbal consent for them to speak to me?
Yeah, I can do that. But what am I supposed to do in terms of where I'm supposed to stay this evening?
Right, this is where we've got a bit of a problem, because at the moment we've got the cold weather provision on.
You've got what, sorry?
There's a cold weather provision.
What does that mean?
It means that the temperatures are going to drop to a level, to a certain level, and then they put the cold weather provision on, and anybody that's just sleeping, that's verified as just sleeping, is offered temporary accommodation while the cold weather provision's on. Okay? The problem that we've got, the issue that we've got, is that you're not verified as a rough sleeper. So
you need me to actually go and sleep rough?
For the cold weather provision. That's the policy.
So the policy states how many nights do I have to sleep rough before you'll give me somewhere to stay?
Until you're verified by the outreach team.
And how am I verified? What's that process?
You would tell us where you're going to be, and I would take a description of you, and I'd pass that on to the outreach team. I'd do a referral to the outreach team and ask them to go out and verify you as soon as possible.
So you need me to go and sit in the snow and then send a team to come and see me in the flesh?
Now, I don't know about you lot, but I just find this absolutely sickening. The fact that we have a government that are telling our hard-earned citizens, our tax-paying citizens, to go and sleep rough to justify the fact that they need somewhere to stay, they need emergency accommodation. And then sending out teams of people to check whether they really, really do need emergency accommodation. It's absolutely sickening. It just shows the utter discontempt that this government have for people that are in need. We saw it in Parliament yesterday with Rishi Sunak. They don't care one single iota about any of us, any hard-working people. They could not care less. All they care about is staying in power and doing whatever they can to stay in power. Ridiculous Rwanda policy at the moment. Purely just to steal votes from the Reform Party because they're scared shitless. They're not running the country. They're not helping homeless people. They're not helping the NHS. They're not doing anything to run the country. All they're doing is scrambling to stay in power and set traps for an inevitable Labour government. Now, there is no justification for one single vote cast for this lot. For any working people in this country, there is no justification. Now, there's no justification for them to stay in power one day longer, but we're stuck with them for another year. But anyone that votes for these pricks, they will get votes in their thousands in the next election, and it just blows my mind how anyone can justify voting for it. How can you justify voting for it? Oh, well, Labour will be worse. How? Look, I'm no advocate for the current Labour Party as it is with Keir Starmer. They probably represent about 30% of my politics, I'd say. I'd say I agree with about 30% of their policies. But I agree with zero with the Tories. Zero. Oh yeah, but if Labour get in, woke. What about woke? Is woke stopping families from putting food on the table? Is woke stopping getting the waiting list down on the NHS? Is woke stopping us from building houses that we desperately need? Is woke helping people get out of poverty? Shut up. Fucking woke stuff. Oh, but Labour borrow lots of money. The Tories have borrowed more money than Labour over the last 13 years than their 10, 12 years in government. But the main difference is that the Tories have cut public services at the same time. They've borrowed more than Labour ever borrowed in their tenure, And they've cut police numbers. They've cut nursing bursaries. There's record high homelessness. Public services have been cut to the bone. They've cut and cut and cut and cut and cut and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. And this is the main difference. Okay, Labour borrowed a lot of money as well, but they invested in public services. And you just can't deny, look, the Labour government during the 90s and the 2000s were not perfect by any means, of course. Iraq War, they never got to grips with the housing crisis. They never sorted out housing in this country. But NHS waiting times were record lows. NHS satisfaction was record highs. Education was at a better standard. There was less homelessness. There was less child poverty. These things are not opinions. They're just facts. They're staunch wall facts. And as I keep coming back to, there is not one single justification. If you earn less than, even if you earn less than 100 grand a year, which is an astronomical sum for the majority of people in this country, but if you earn less than 100 grand a year, there is not one single justification for voting for the Tories. There just isn't. Oh, but Labour are woke. Labour are fucking woke. Woke is not stopping people getting out of homes. Woke is not helping people like Charlotte that are stuck on the streets, or the family living out their van. Woke is not causing that problem. It's this fucking disgusting government. They need to go. If you enjoyed the video, fucking hell, they gotta go. These robbing bastards have gotta go. They gotta fucking go. If you enjoyed the video, click a like. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe up top, and there's another video of me complaining about these pricks. Fucking god awful bastards. Sunak, you